And everyone can hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for coming, press, ladies and gentlemen from the press. Great to have you here. And hope we can answer all your questions, if there are any at all, by the time I finish talking for the next 9 hours. I want to thank Marok's Events, both Vicky and Rika. Thank you so much for putting this on. This is, COVID's kept us all down for quite a while, and so we are finally coming out, and events and concerts are hitting the Philippines and around the globe at a very fast pace, and it's really great to be back in what I would call the real world. There's nothing that replaces live performances, and we all did our best to get by during these difficult times. With streaming and these kind of things and perpetuating the music, but nothing on earth beats live music and going to see, support all the artists live. So thank you so much for stepping up to the plate and putting on live events. This is wonderful. So a little bit about Love Rocks. Love Rocks has been in existence as an organized show. It's a trademark show. We are trademarked globally, and it's a multi-artist show, and promoters have the choice of picking from various Grammy Award-winning multi-platinum artists that we have on our roster, as well as adding local local headliners, local up-and-coming artists, or local artists that have been around for quite a long time. So on this particular occasion, this particular Love Rocks, we have Grammy Award-winning Deniece Williams, R&B and gospel singer, pop singer, with hits dating back to the 70s, into the 80s and into the 90s. She's had wonderful, wonderful hits with legends like Johnny Mathis, Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. Let's hear it for the boy from the movie Footloose, which I think was a #1 song. I'm going to say 1983. Most of you weren't born. I was just born in '83. So, it was the #1 song the year I was born. That's a joke, of course. She has wonderful hits. I think what's kind of interesting, as I do a lot of these shows with different artists all over the world, when you go into a specific region with a specific artist, and then you hear kind of stories about, oh, they sang that song, and I'm like, I don't know that song by a given artist. And so it's really interesting to find out some of the hit songs that certain artists had in different parts of the world. So jumping to Deniece Williams, I never knew that Healing was such a big hit, but it's a huge hit in the Philippines. And that's wonderful. It's a wonderful song, and I can see why the Filipino love the song. And so it's amazing, and she'll be doing that for sure in the concert. And so she's got wonderful hits that everyone's going to enjoy. Something that folks always ask me, because a lot of the artists that we're working with, again, they've had hits from the 70s, 80s, even some dating back to the 60s, 90s, throughout the 90s. A lot of these artists, so I get asked, well, how's his voice still? Well, how's her voice still? And I'm here to say that Deniece Williams, oh, that woman can sing. She can sing. She's not lost a single bit of her voice and her abilities. Most recently, just before COVID, we did a bunch of shows in Malaysia. We didn't make it to the Philippines on that particular tour, but we did a bunch of shows in Malaysia, and she just puts on a fabulous, fabulous show. So we can all really look forward to Deniece Williams doing a wonderful job. Let's see, we have Hajji Alejandro. I'll admit, I've met a number of wonderful Filipino artists. We've worked with Kuladesma, we've worked with Sarah Geronimo, we've worked with some of the bigs. I had not heard of Hajji until he was added to this, and I'll say, having listened to his music and watched some of his performances, we're very, very happy to have Hajji. I wish he was here today so he could prop himself up, but I'm glad to do it for him because I think he's just going to do a wonderful job. Everyone's going to love this. And that is part of the mission of Love Rocks, is artists that you wouldn't necessarily think of coming together and doing a show together. It's a multi-artist show. We have one band, the Love Rocks Orchestra, backing the entire show. So we go through rehearsals all together and put some things in the show and collaborate. So it's a wonderful experience from an artist standpoint, where artists, like I said, artists that you normally don't get to see together on stage or working together, they're working together and collaborating and putting together this wonderful show called Love Rocks. And a quick example, and I recall a press conference we did, this must be at least 10 years ago. We were going to do a Love Rocks at Araneta Coliseum. And my guest artists were Stephen Bishop. Everyone knows Stephen Bishop. Something's telling me it might be you. Yeah. All of my life. Dan Hill, Sometimes When We Touch. Everyone. And Joe Puerto from Ambrosia. So interesting. We were at the press conference, and someone in the press asked Dan Hill, where did you get the inspiration of writing the song Never Thought? Never thought that I could love everyone. Okay. I'm just trying to reference. I'm not trying to steal Dan Hill's song. I'm just making a reference here. So Dan said, and this is the first time Dan ever met Stephen Bishop. So Stephen's sitting here, I'm sitting here, Dan's sitting here. And Dan looked over at Stephen. He said, I got the inspiration from a Stephen Bishop song. And Stephen looked at him and said, which one? And it was a Stephen Bishop song that he wrote for a movie. You have no right to ask me how I feel. And Stephen never met Dan before. Dan never met Stephen. But this is a story that, like, wow, you got inspiration for your song from my song. It was just sort of an amazing moment. And that's kind of what this collaboration, and since then, we've written songs together, and the collaboration and how these artists come together for these shows is really amazing. And I think what ends up happening is you see the magic when you do go to the show, and you feel the magic that these folks have really been around for decades, and there's a reason. It's a really, really amazing reason why a song like Sometimes When We Touch, Let's Hear It for the Boy, Healing, It Might Be You. There's a reason why these songs are still on the radio. And Philippines is really one of those places that, it's still at the forefront. These amazing songs and these amazing artists. So Love Rocks has been a wonderful vehicle to put these artists together, a number of them in a fashion where it's all a seamless, wonderful show that everyone can enjoy. So we're very excited to be coming back. This is going to be our first time at Solaire. We've done other casino venues here in the Philippines, but we're very, very excited to be playing at the theater at Solaire. Wonderful acoustics, great sound system. The staff, so far as we've done a walkthrough with them, have been very knowledgeable, and I think the facilities are going to be fantastic. So we're really looking forward to the venue. So far, the team, we've been working with Vicky and Rika and Bong. They've been planning everything wonderfully, and it's all coming together. It's going to be a fabulous show. It's also my understanding that we will have part of the proceeds going to. Let me get this right, huh? I'm good at making mistakes, I promise. Feed Hungry Minds. Okay, so this is a wonderful foundation where part of the proceeds are going to be going. And so I'd like to, would you like to come up and talk a bit about your organization?
Sure.
Everyone please, a round of applause. Myra Okinaka.